All right, welcome to the comp plan training, guys. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to actually really take the time to understand the nitty gritty and really do the breakdown. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down as easy as possible for you guys to understand, and we will call this the comp plan 101 basic training. All right. So before I get into the comp plan, there are a few nuances and rules and certain things to be mindful of. So I'm going to give you guys a little refresh, okay? So there's two things to be mindful of, right? The first thing is BP. What is BP and what is SP? So as you build this business, you go through the catalog or you're signing people up, you're going to notice like a price of like what it costs to buy, and then you're going to see these two little numbers in separate categories as BP and SP. So BP is pretty much what you get paid on. Think of it kind of like as our Riman currency for planners to get paid. Like that's our commissionable point system, right? You could kind of like look at it like dollars, but it's like commissionable points that turn into money that gets paid to us, right? So it's points awarded for sales calculated on the USD value of the final subtotal after discounts and promotions. Okay, so BP is what we get paid on all the activities that we do. Whenever you see BP, that's our money. Okay, now when you see on the other side something that says SP, this is called sales points, right? Consider this something like a rank meter or kind of like a savings account, right? So it's used in rank advancement in accumulating points to get you to the next rank, which unlocks more money, more incentives. So it's used in rank advancement, maintenance, and paid as rank status. Okay, so SP is to calculate how we get promoted, unlocking money, knowing what rank we are, what pay grade we are. BP is pretty much what we get paid on. That's our commissionable sales. Okay, now the other part you have to be really mindful of is we have Riman rebates and Riman dollars, right? So this is more of like a US policy and procedure because we want to follow the rules. We want to be in coordination with the FTC. So whatever you personally buy, you're gonna get 50% in commissions and 50% in Riman dollars. Meaning I went to my shopping mall, I bought it, 50% in commissions, 50% in Riman dollars where I can save for rainy day and buy. However, when you sell to a customer, right? Your wife can be a customer, your mother can be a customer, your offspring can be a customer. But so as long as you have an email and you open a free lifetime customer account, if the products are ordered through a customer account, you will get 100% in cash commissions. Okay, so that's the nuance, right? Even if you're doing the same transaction, if you personally buy it, it will be 50% in commission, 50% Remon dollars. If you sell to a customer from a lifetime customer account, given that it's anybody that is willing to buy from you, you get 100% in commissions. So usually how the rebate works is 50% in commissions and 50% Remon dollars. So just be aware of that nuance. Okay. Now we have something called the 50% rule. What is the 50% rule? So for when you're rank advancing, you know how we're calculating SP, right? For rank advancement, it's per teams. You may apply 50% of the SP toward your next rank. So what that means is when you're building a leg, right? So one leg is a separate team or an organization you're building, right? And in order to go team leader or senior manager, any of these ranks, you hit the ranks by accumulating SP, right? So what this means is if you accumulate 50,000 total SP in one leg, you can use 50% of that to apply to your next promotional rank. Now, it doesn't have to do with your income or what you're getting paid, right? Whatever BP you do, so if you did 50,000 SP, that amount of BP, you're fully getting paid out. But in order to calculate, to accumulate and accrue for the next rank, you can only use 50% of the SP to apply towards your next rank. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we have a 50% rule. In order to hit your next promotion, per team and leg, you can use 50% of the SP to apply. Okay. Now, here are some bullet points for you guys to be mindful of. Pay period deadline is considered the last day of the calendar month at 11:59 US Pacific Standard Time. So we are going off of Cali time. Everything is going to be calculated based on 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, last day of the calendar month. Okay. Rank advancements, in order for you to hit the next position, unlock more bonuses. Rank advancements are calculated as most recent calendar months count. So what that means is we're not doing, when we're accumulating the SP to calculate our next rank, we're not doing it as a 4-week count, but a month to month. You get it? So if I signed up September 15th, my first month will be that month of September. It's not 4 weeks from when I started. No, whether it's September 1st or September 28th or the 30th, that September month will count as my month one. Okay. So we're going by month to month to month. Okay. So when you first get started, obviously you're a planner. The next position is manager and then senior manager. So manager and senior manager gets promoted real time. So let's just say you get the job done on the next update, you will be promoted in real time. So as long as you have met the qualification. Now for team leader and higher, once you meet the qualification, you will be promoted that following month of the first, right? So that whole month you finish, that month you are still a senior manager when you finish in that month, and the following month of the first is when you're qualified team leader and you start getting paid as a team leader. So team leader and higher will always be following the month of the first. Now this is a little cheat sheet I want you to remember, because we go by months when you're calculating, um you know 2 months or 3 months or 5 months to team leader or manager or senior manager, whatever you're calculating. The easiest way to do it is whatever month you're in today, just rewind 1 month back from present day, or rewind 2 months back, 3 months back, 5 months back. And when you rewind from your current month backwards, within those 3 months, 5 months, those are the calendar months that if you accrued the qualifying points within those calendar months, that is what qualifies you and you get the job done. So that's a little cheat sheet for you to remember. Just from whatever calendar month you're in, just calculate 2, 3 months or 5 months backwards, and then you'll be able to see how much or cumulative volume you have done to calculate your rank advancement. Okay. Now, as you know, we have two ways we get paid, right? So your Riman paycheck, right? We get paid weekly, which are rebate commissions, retail sales, sponsorship commissions on your level 1 orders, senior manager and team leader open line, qualified on team orders. So that's paid every week, right? That's going to be paid every Tuesday through your e-wallet. Now, paid monthly, once a month, 15th of every month, is going to be the leadership team leader check match bonus. Uni level commissions, must have 1,000 in personal SP to unlock the uni level. Top retailer bonuses. So this is the 5 or 10% extra they give you on top of the retail. That's calculated for the calendar month. Obviously, director overrides and rev share as well. Okay. So as you know, just keep in mind, as kind of as a bullet point, we get paid weekly and we get paid monthly. So the most important thing I want to explain to you guys today on the call is whatever compensation plan that you're looking at, whether it be a real estate agent, a car salesman, a telemarketer, or a network marketer, or any type of a infomercial salesman, whatever the case may be. Okay, whatever the case may be, when it comes to sales, when it comes to a commission-based compensation plan, we all have to understand and acknowledge that comp plan drives behavior. Meaning, whatever compensation plan there is in any program, right? Whether it's an affiliate or a straight out sales and strategy marketing, any commission based program that is compensation plan driven, you have to understand that it is asking you and requiring you for a specific behavior that they're asking you to do. Let me give you the best example, right? Let's just say if I was a car salesman at BMW Motors, right? And this month, right? We've done so much sales in the BMW 5 Series, right? That it became such a hit. Going into the new month, we're gonna have an excess of 3 Series BMWs way more than we anticipated of inventory on the lot. So going into the new month, what do you think they're going to do? They're probably going to raise the commissions on the 3 Series BMW to move the inventory and get it flowing out, right? So comp plan ultimately drives a certain behavior, right? So if I want to, for this month, if I want to have the BMW 3 Series sell predominantly, I'm probably going to emphasize the most commissions to my sales guys on probably the 3 Series for that month, right? So you have to understand that when we're looking at a compensation plan, we have to ask ourselves, what is the compensation plan requiring us to do? What is it asking us to do regarding action? What kind of action or what kind of behavior does it want us to emulate, right? And they're going to emphasize the most money on where they want the behavior driven, right? So let's look at the Riman business model, right? There's 6 ways to get paid. We have the retail, the open group, the uni level, the leadership override, revenue share, and leadership match, right? But when you take a look, right, what jumps out at you the most? That 54% in retail and probably the open group in 30%, right? So what they're saying is we're willing to bet money, a lot of money, pay out a lot of money that our products are really high quality and the likelihood of somebody buying again a second, third time is going to be very high. And because we understand this, we're willing to put a 54% payout on the retail. Now, for those of you that are like brand new in the business or don't have any experience, retail has been around from the beginning of time, right? Just remember, so as long as a product is good, retail isn't hard. If a product is bad and you have to convince people and you have to sell people hard on why they need to buy the product from you, then, retail becomes hard, right? But if you have a clean, honest, good product, more than likely you're going to be able to get a second sale, a third sale because of word of mouth referral, right? So that's what they're saying right now. Open group on the 30%, what this pretty much means is they're going to pay you to build teams, right? To build a bigger distribution channel. The best example I could put is like McDonald's, right? McDonald's, they have 2 major ways where they make massive amount of money, right? They sell hamburgers and fries, right? They talked about how they've made billions and billions of burgers sold, right? But guess what? They didn't sell retail from one hamburger store. What did they do? They opened up multiple locations and expanded, right? With the concept of leverage, right? So they built a distribution channel. So here you can get paid selling to customers or building a distribution channel and expanding aggressive expansion, right? Now, uni level, it's kind of like an extra bonus that you get for doing some of the right team building activities. Obviously, leadership override and revenue share. This is when you get to the top positions. Think of this as more of like a little royalty extra cherry on top that you get. And a leadership match is actually, this is actually pretty lucrative as well. This is shown as 40%, but leadership match is what becomes the big residual income later. So leadership match later will become quite bigger. It'll become the biggest portion of your residual income and income. So when you look at this, you have to analyze and understand where the percentages are paid out the most is what the behavior is requiring. Okay. So let me give you a very simple breakdown on really how this compensation plan works. The best way I could tell you is there are 2 elements to our business. There is a now money element where you do the work now, you do the activities, you can get paid handsomely and nicely, right? And then for being consistent and building a duplicatable business, there is a long-term money that's going to pay you so you could sail off into the sunset, right? But look at clause number 2, right? Clause number 1 and 2. Focus on the 3 now money activities because in reality, that's all you really need to focus on. The long-term money will automatically trigger in the future because of the now activities you do today. So what you have to understand is the long-term leadership override, rev share, leadership match. This is all correlated to the money-making activities that you do here. So in reality, all we really need to focus on now is the now money, which is the retail, the open group, and the uni level. I'll go over everything, but I will go over the first 3 parts of the now money. Okay. So what is the now money? So the first category is retail, right? So you do the work, you get paid now, right? So, as you know, we have all of our positions at planner, manager, senior manager, team leader, director, senior director, and national director. And as you can see, director, senior director, national director, these are some of the more prestigious positions when you have a bigger organization. But as you can see, 10, 20, 30, 40, team leader is really where the sweet spot is, right? Everything has big 10% jumps until you get to 40, and then it's incremental. So the meat of the move is really at team leader. I'm going to break that down, but let's talk about the retail commission, right? Now, planner, manager, senior manager, these are more like affiliate programs, or if you want to be a power seller, you don't want to build any teams, you don't want to build a distribution channel, that's great, right? What Riman is saying is you could still make lucrative, massive amounts of money just by doing the retail sale. Why? Because they're confident in the quality of the product with affordable luxury, right? So when you're a planner, right now, remember 10% isn't that much. Anything you buy or sell, you get 10% in retail commission, right? But remember, this is just a stop at the gas station along the way. This is not where you're arriving, right? This is like you got to the steakhouse and you're taking a bite of the appetizer bread and butter. That's just about it, okay? Now, when you do a few thousand in sales, you're going to automatically get promoted to the position of manager, and it's going to bump you up to a additional 10% increase in 20% in retail commission, right? So it's very simple, right? I sell $1,000, I'm making 200 bucks off the top right away, okay? Senior manager, okay, you do about 6,000 in sales, you get bumped up to 30%, right? Team leader, 40% off the top. Think about it. I sold $1,000 in products. I make $400 that following week paid weekly to me, right? So as long as you do the work, you will get paid. Now, I know people don't want to sell, sell. But remember, if a product isn't good, you have to sell and convince. But if a product is really good and compelling, all you have to do is promote. Okay. Now, as you move along, in the compensation plan, senior manager, you get 30%, 40%, director, 42%, 43%, 44%, right? Now, as you do these activities over time, what Riman is betting on is if you are consistent, the likelihood of you acquiring more and more customers along the way is highly likely, right? So they're saying if you don't leave any money on the table and as you build your clientele, if you can do on a monthly basis 2,000 SP in sales and 20 lifetime customers. Now, 20 people don't have to buy. These are just 20 accounts that are opened for free with an email and their name. And if you can do 2,000 SP, it's going to unlock an additional 5% on top of your 20%, 30%, 40%, 42%, 43%, 44%. So you scoop up an additional 5% on top of your retail commission, right? And over time, right? Now this might not happen overnight, but as long as the key is consistency, right? If you are consistent, you will get it. If you are persistent, you will keep it. There's a saying, right? So as long as you're persistent in the business and there's customers coming and going, the likelihood of your clientele growing over time, just because people want to take advantage of affordable luxury, they're saying over time, it is absolutely plausible that you can get to 4,000 SP in sales a month with about 40 lifetime customers. Now, these 40 customers, they all don't have to order. It's just at some point, one of your customers just needed to open up a free account to show you do have customers willing to buy. And amongst any one of those 40 accounts, as long as you can accrue 4,000 SP in sales, it's going to bump up an additional another 5%, making it an additional 10% on top of your retail sales. So think about it. Like by the time you're a team leader, you're taking 50% off the top. And that's just what you take. It's like you and the company do a 50-50 split on the product sale, and the consumer got a heck of a deal for affordable luxury, right? So just know that you get paid weekly for making a sale. If you do the extra add-on, do the extra credit, you're going to get extra money and get paid bonused out once a month on top of that for your retail sales. So it's very simple, right? Based on your position and rank, you have that pay grade, sell a product and you get a percentage off of the BP that we sold. All right. Now, so let's go into the second part of the now money, right? So this is called open group, right? So what I like to also call this is called a differential payout. So what a differential payout really is this is where you start recruiting business partners and bringing people to expand your distribution channel, right? So you're getting paid handsomely and nicely to build a distribution channel of a team, right? So let's take a look at manager. So when you hit manager, obviously when you hit 3,000, 3,000 in sales in 3 calendar months, you're going to be promoted to the position of manager. But the cool thing about manager is this is considered a lifetime position. Once you hit this position, you will never ever lose this position. Okay. So when you hit 20%, what 20% really means is I unlock 20% and whatever I buy or sell, right, based upon my retail customers or, the additional retail bonus I scoop up. When I make a product sale direct, I can scoop up 20 to 30% direct from the sale of the product, right? Now, let's just say I'm a manager and I got 20% and I recruited my buddy Art Frontline to come in and be a business partner and build a distribution channel with me. So when he first gets started, he's a planner. Now, in our business, planners, they're entitled to 10% of what they buy or sell. So on a differential payout, I'm going to make the difference of what Art the planner is making. So when he buys or sells a product, he takes 10% and the differential I take will be 10%. Okay. Now let's just say I brought my friend Sarah in, right? She got super excited and she bought $3,000 worth of products. She got super excited. She came in as a manager because she wanted to buy products. She wanted to throw a K-pop up and she bought all these products and she became a manager within days, right? So because I'm a manager and she's a same position manager, now I'm going to make a generation pay of 5% of whatever she buys or sells because she's going to make her 20%. Because she's taking her 20%, I'm going to make a 5% override. But here is a nuance that I want to make you pay attention to right here. You see personal and first level. Remember I said compensation drives behavior. A comp plan that is promising to pay you money so as you do the behaviors and the work, right? So what the comp plan is asking us at the manager position is focus on your personal sales and build your first level because you're only getting paid on your level 1. So in actuality, when you become a manager, planner to manager, what you're really going to be focused on is going wide, getting paid on the width of your business, okay? Now, I want you to remember I said this, okay? Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. What I mean by this is every compensation plan has an intention, right? The reason why in the beginning you're getting paid on level 1 and I'm telling you to go wide is because when the uni level kicks in, you're getting paid on your width and you're setting yourself up for bigger bonuses. Okay, so stay with me here. Okay, so remember, as a manager, you're getting paid on what you personally buy and sell and your level 1 only, right? So if I'm a manager and I bring in a brand new planner, I make 10% off the planner because it's a differential payout, right? Now, if I'm a manager and this guy goes manager, he's going to get his 20%. So I'm going to get a 5% override. Okay. I'm going to get a 5% sponsorship commission. Okay. So it's very simple. All you got to really do is focus on going wide. Build your level 1 frontline. That's all you got to do. Even if you feel like it's ignorance on fire, ignorance on fire is indeed better than knowledge on ice. The most important part about manager is getting paid on the width of your business. Go wide. You will set yourself up for massive success. And you'll see as I explain. Okay. Now, when you get to the second position, it is called senior manager. Now, this is to do 6,000 SP points in 3 calendar months. Okay. It's a rolling calendar months. But when you do that, you get a unlock of a total of 30% payout on everything you buy or sell. Now, the 40% is based upon if you hit the actual the retail bonus, right? You go the extra mile. But the base pay you get for buying and selling is 30%. Okay. Now, here's what I want to tell you, right? Here as well, you will have something called a differential payout. But here, as I explained, you're going to get paid on your personal and your first level as a 25% base commission. So What that means is when you have a differential payout, this is technically you're getting 25% differential plus the 5% open group on your open SM open group. I know this is kind of confusing, but stay with me, okay? So in the beginning, you are entitled to 30%, and whatever you buy or sell to the customer, you're getting the full 30%. Now, if I bring in a brand new planner, right? Let's just say my friend Art joined as a planner, right? A brand new planner is entitled to 10%. A senior manager is 30%. So the differential payout you get is anything my planner buys or sells, I'm going to make 20% off of him. Why? Because it's 15% on the base commission, right? For the sponsorship commission, um, and it's going to, no, it's 25% on the base commission and the 5% open group. Now, I know this is confusing, but the next slide, I'm going to be able to break it down, right? So it's very simple. 30%, a planner makes 10%. So what am I making? I take 20%. Now, my friend Sarah, that's a manager, she went manager, and that following week, I went senior manager, and she is a manager, right? I make 30%. A manager makes 20%. So the difference I make on Sarah's business, I will make 10%. Now, my other friend that got started, he became a senior manager. I'm a senior manager. He's a senior manager, right? Because we're the same rank, I'm not going to make the 30% on his business. He will make the 30% on his own business, and I get a generation 5% sponsorship bonus. Okay. So this is your level one. Very similar to the manager, right? You get a differential payout on your level one. But remember, anything beyond your level one into your level two, here's what you have to realize. Okay. What SM Open Group is because when you are a senior manager, okay, anywhere in your organization from your level two and on, where there is no senior manager, you see how like the highlighted parts have no senior manager? From beyond your level one, starting from level two, where there are no senior managers, every manager or planner that is in your open group, you get 5% here, 5% here, 5% here, and 5% here. Okay. So your level one is the same as manager, where you do the differential pay. Senior manager is 30, planner is 10, so you take 20. Senior manager is 30, manager takes 20, so the difference you make is 10%. A planner takes 10%, a senior manager makes 30%. So the difference I make on whatever he buys and sells, I take 20% off of him. Okay. Now, when there is a senior manager below me, okay, not in my front line, but below my level one, I will not be compensated on these senior managers. I will only be compensated on my frontline senior manager at 5%. And as a 5% SM open group, meaning anywhere from your second level and beyond where there are no senior managers in that leg, every single manager and planner that is in your SM open line, you're getting 5%. Okay. I want to be very clear about that. Okay. Now, moving on to team leader. Now, team leader, remember how I said team leader is like the meat of the move in the retail sales? In the whole compensation plan, this is the meat of the move. This is why you want to go team leader, right? So to go team leader, I'm going to bring you up to speed. You have to do 50,000 SP in a rolling 5 months with 3 senior manager legs. Okay. Now, when you get to team leader, you get a differential of 40%. Anything you buy or sell to your customer, you get a 40% payout. But here's the nuance I want you to pay attention to. Unlimited levels in team leader group. This is staggering. This is where the real big money starts to pay you, okay? This is where you could really start making some lucrative full-time income. Now, what I mean by unlimited levels in TL group, and actually this is where the check match, the leadership match bonus kicks in, but I'll kind of break that down later as I cover the matching bonus. But over here, very simple, right? 40% on what you buy or sell to the customer. You take off the top. I sold $1,000 worth of products to my clients. I'm going to take them 400 that following week, right? Now, if I'm at 40% and I frontline a brand new planner, they're entitled to 10% of what they buy or sell. and I'm going to get that 30% override of what they bought and sold, right? So it's a differential payout. Manager, same thing, right? Manager, I'm going to make, he's at a 20% payout. I'm at a 40% payout. There's a 20% difference between us. So I'm going to take a 20% differential payout on what the manager buys and sells. Okay. Now at senior manager takes 30%. I take 40%. So the difference I make off of his team is 10%. But remember, I talked about unlimited levels in team leader groups. So what I mean by that is technically managers and planners only get paid on their level 1. Senior managers get paid on their level 1 plus the 5% open group, right? So anything and everything that is left over on those payouts, everything on the entire depth of the business is going to be paid all to the team leader. That's why the money is so lucrative. I know when you look at this is like, oh my gosh, what is this? Analysis paralysis. But I will break this down piece by piece. Okay. Don't pay attention to anything else. Only look at the left side of the leg where it says 30, 25, 25, 25. Okay. So if I'm a team leader, right now, stay with me here. I'm at a 40% payout. Just only look at the left side of the leg, right? So if I'm a 40% payout as a team leader and a planner is entitled to 10, team leader makes 40, planner makes 10. So the difference of 30% gets paid to who? The team leader. Okay. Level 2. Okay. Because a planner only makes 5% on his level 1 planner, the top planner will make 5% and the lower planner makes 10% of what he buys and sell. So among these level 1 payouts, there is 25% that is left over on these transactions. 25% gets paid to the team leader. Okay. So you're getting paid on all levels up until the next team leader, which is why it's called open group. When it's open and there are no equivalent ranks, that's your money. That's your money run. Okay. Now let's look at planner number 2 and planner number 3 on the left side. Okay, same thing, right? You're only calculating their level 1 payout. Okay, the top guy over here doesn't get anything, right? It's all level 1 calculation, level 1, level 1. So the top planner as well makes 5%, right? And the lower planner is entitled to 10% whatever he buys or sells. So what's left over? 25% is left over, and that gets paid to the team leader. So whatever transaction happened, 25% in bonuses goes to him. Okay. Now let's look at level 3 and 4 planner. Same thing, right? A planner will only make 5% on his level 1 planner. So what does this mean? This is open, open, open line, right? There's no senior manager in between the team leader. Okay. So same thing. The top planner will make 5% generation on his level 1 planner. And the lower planner, whatever he buys or sells, makes 10%. So from the 15%, and he's at 40, the difference that's left over, the 25% goes to him. So on all these transactions, he's making 30% off this transaction. Why? Team leader versus planner, right? There's that extra 5% spread. So he's going to make 30%. Team leader versus this planner, 25%, 25%, 25%, right? So this is what you would call an open line. Technically, what you're seeing here is the team leader is getting paid as the team leader. He's getting paid as the senior manager, and he's getting paid as the manager. And that's how he's getting all the differential payout. Now, I'll give you another simulation. So this team leader is running 4 teams. Now let's look at the complete right side, okay? Don't focus on anything else other than the right side of the leg, okay? Now, I'm a team leader at 40%, and my senior manager is my level 1 frontline. So team leader makes 40%, a senior manager, they take home 30%. So the differential payout I would take in between my senior manager and myself, I make 10%, right? Now, pay very close attention to here. Between the senior manager and manager, okay? Now, keep in mind, okay? The senior manager makes 30% and the manager makes 20%. So the differential payout among them two is what? 10%. So the senior manager took 10%, on his level 1 differential payout. But because there are no other senior managers on his level 3 and 4, the level 3 planner and the level 4 planner is ultimately the SM open group of the 5%. Now, manager and planner, right? Their differential is 20 to 10. Among the manager and planner, 10% got paid out to them, right? And 5% open group went to the senior manager. So because there's another 5% left over because of the SM that went to him, 5% rolls up to that team leader. Same thing on level 3 and level 4 planner, right? A planner only makes 5% on his first level planner, and the bottom planner makes 10% on whatever he buys or sells, right? So there is a 5% payout that goes to the third planner, and because of that, the planner on the third level and the planner on the fourth level is also SM open group. This is where the SM open group 5% goes to the senior manager. So 5% on the third planner, 5% on the fourth planner, all goes to the senior manager as a 5% open group. But because 5% open group was paid out, there's an additional 5% left over on the differential. So that 5% leftover rolls up to the team leader. So pretty much the basic, easiest way to understand is on the depth of the entire team, whatever wasn't paid out and left over, everything rolls up to the team leader. Okay. Now, the third part of the now money. So what is the now money? The uni level. Okay. Now, uni level is a very unique way to get paid. Okay. So I would say pretty much every billion-dollar company has some sort of a uni level element in our industry, right? So it's very simple, right? As a planner, as long as you get personal 1,000 SP, right, and 10 lifetime customers as a planner or national director all across the board, as long as you get 1,000 personal SP points and 10 lifetime customer accounts, okay, again, all 10 customer accounts don't have to be ordering, okay, you just have those activated, which are free and lifetime, and you do 1,000 SP within those accounts, it unlocks your uni level pay. Now, what is a uni level pay? Now, as you build your first level is what your front line of people that you brought, right? That will be considered your level 1. Now, what if your frontline level 1 brought in their front lines? That would be considered your level 2. What about your second level that brought in their front lines? That will be level 3, and so on and so forth, right? So the cool thing here is if I'm a planner and I sponsored Sarah today, and in 3 months from now, she became a national director, right? As long as she is in my 2 levels and I finish this qualification, even though she's a national director, I'll still be able to get paid on her. This is the compelling part of the compensation plan. So here, technically you get paid on your width. Think about it. In order for you to get paid well on 6 levels of your business, to maximize it is to go wide. And what does your manager position ask you? To build your level 1. You get paid on what you buy and sell and your level 1 pay, right? So what does that mean? You have to build on what you can control, right? So you focus on retail and focus on sponsoring people by going wide. When you do that, you are setting the tone for success early on. Okay. So when you're a planner and you do 1,000 SP10 customers, you're going to unlock 2 levels of your uni level at 5%, 5%, manager as well, 5%, 5%, senior manager, 5%, 5%. However, if you go the extra mile and do 3,000 SP and 30 lifetime customer accounts, it'll unlock you an additional 2 levels of 3% and 3%. So you're going to get paid on 4 levels if you do the extra work. Same thing at team leader, right? Team leader, majority bulk of the money is at team leader, right? So what they're saying is if you do 1,000 SP10 customers, you're going to unlock 4 levels, 5,533% of your uni level. But you do the extra credit, you go the extra mile, you show excellence, and you're able to do this because the product is good. 5,000 SP 50 customer accounts, you're going to unlock an additional 2 levels, which is going to open up a total of 6 levels. Now, when you get to the prestigious director, senior director, national director, it's going to obviously automatically unlock 6 levels at 553333, senior director 553344, and national director 554444. The money only gets bigger. This commission is based on the BP of all planners in up to 6 levels within their genealogy. So your genealogy level 1 is your frontline. Genealogy level 2 is your frontline's frontline, okay? And so on and so forth. So let me give you an illustration on how really uni level works, okay? Now, what I like to do is, because comp plan drives behavior, manager position is dependent on building your level 1. In the beginning, myself, Mr. Tim Herr, we always promote frontline 10 people, become a sponsor monster. Because if you shoot for 10, the likelihood of your organization getting bigger and that duplicating is all the more likely. So, this business is a monkey see, monkey do business. It doesn't happen because you said to do it or announced it. It happens because you did the action, and it's a monkey see, monkey do leaning forward motion of business, right? So let's just say, I talked to 100 people and I ended up recruiting a good, how many is this? 10 people, 10 amount of people, right? Now, 10 people aren't going to all go recruit 10 people, right? It's not going to be 10 that get 100 and 100 get 1,000 and then 1,000 get 10,000. It's not a perfect world, right? But somewhere along the line, out of those 10, there's going to be that one hungry person, right? Or there's going to be a leadership quality person, right? That, took it seriously, took it like a real multi-million dollar business, and they blew it up, right? And somewhere along the line, right, not everybody did it, but it kept expanding and blowing up. And then your third leg kept moving, right? This person brought in one person, person brought in one person, but ultimately this led them to 8 people, right? Now, out of the 8, this person maybe brought 2. This person brought 2 that brought in another 8 people, right? And then this one lady, and everybody else know, these people probably became customers. This person, brought in maybe 50 customers, but that one person, they blew up. This is usually how a network marketing distribution channel works, right? Because not everybody's going to say yes, right? But then again, being rich ain't for everybody either, right? So it's kind of like the luck of the draw. This is why I say, even in the business, the people you think that will do it will not do it. And the people that you think will not do it, they often end up doing it, right? So it's really, you're not really in control what your organization will look like. Maybe your level 1 will be people level 2, level 3. These are absolute strangers, people you would have never met in your lifetime had it not been for the Riman opportunity. And that's what makes it special, right? Because we're all here, and the common denominators, we're all trying to get to the same place. So this is how I wanted to portray it. This is level 1 at 5%. This is level 2 at 5%. Level 3 obviously is 3. And this is kind of like a simulation as a team leader that did the 5,000 SP that unlocked all 6 levels, right? So this is going wide, right? It's going to be based upon commissionable volume, based upon the width of your business. All right. Now, so those are the 3 now monies that I covered. Now, the other part, now this is the other half of the compensation plan that I want to cover. Now, this is the long-term money, right? So this is something for you to kind of be aware of and understand how this works. But this isn't as important. It is important, but not as important as the now money, because what you do with the now money is going to trigger the long-term money automatically. It's all kind of tied in and congruent. Okay, so leadership match is basically from team leader and higher, right? Now think about it. So when you break team leaders, right? Team leaders are pretty much the life of this business, right? That's where they start getting paid the depth. The first 3 levels, 3 generations of your check match kick, leadership match kick in. So this starts from team leaders who achieved a minimum of 10,000 SP within their team leader group in their current calendar month. So 10,000 SP is a monthly qualifier to maintain your team leader rank. But when you qualify this, it's going to unlock the leadership matching bonuses, right? So what this pretty much concept means is, I don't make money till you make money. I don't get promoted till you get promoted, right? So this is what's going to create the long-term residual. So what you're really getting paid on is 40. So I'm going to just go off the first generation, right? So 40% is earned off of the rebate, the retail, the open group sales, and the uni level part, that portion that gets commissioned out, that portion of it, of your team leader, you're going to make 40% off of that. So what this really is saying is, when you create another team leader in your business, right? And it can be on your first level, your fifth level, your sixth level, heck, your 30th level. But if it's wherever level it is, the first team leader that you promote anywhere in your organization, any level, the first one you promote, that is your first generation team leader. You got to think like that would be my first cousin, okay? And so on. So, and in your first generation team leader, if he or she promotes another team leader in their business, that will be their first generation, and it will be your second generation, right? Now, what makes this really special is as you promote more team leaders, right, you're going to unlock, you're going to be able to get paid up to 3 generations of team leaders in all your legs. Okay. When you become a director, you're going to unlock another generation and get paid on 4 generations on all your legs of directors. Senior director, you unlock 5. National director, you unlock 6 generations for 40, 20, 10, 5, 5, 5. Okay. So let me kind of show you how the leadership match works. Okay. So this is literally roadmap to layers and layers of leadership. This is designed to pay you long term on the depth of your business, on all your legs. Matching bonus becomes the biggest part of your commission. So my commission, my matching bonus commission is the biggest portion of my income right now. And this is what becomes pretty much the long-term residual income where you set it and forget it and you get paid. Why? Because think about it. When you break a bunch of team leaders, by the time you're a team leader, that means you're a leader already running your own open line business, getting paid 40% differential on the entire depth of your own business. So if you build multiple team leaders, it's literally it's literally putting your business on autopilot, because a team leader doesn't really technically need your help. I mean, they may need some assistance, but a team leader is at a place where they already know how to run their business, right? They have their open line business, they're generating 10,000 SP, and like they're running their own business kind of automated, right? So the best way I could put it, right, is based on their rebate, open group, retail sales. Let's say your first generation team leader here generated $10,000 in commissions. Then if I'm getting 40% on my first generation of 40% of 10 grand, then I'm taking $4,000. Now let's just say over here, there's a manager, planner, up, but on the 4th level, this guy went team leader, but there's no other team leader in between us, right? So that will make him the first generation team leader. Okay. So based on his rebate, his product sales, his open group sales, and he did some open line commissions, and he generated 10,000 on that portion of the income. If he makes 10 grand, I'm going to get also a 40% matching bonus at an additional $4,000. Now, let's just say my team leader here promoted another team leader. To my team leader, that's his first generation, but to me, that's my second generation below my first guy, right? So this is my second generation. Same thing, if he generates 10,000 in income for my second generation, remember, on your second generation team leader, you're getting 20%, right? So for my second generation, I'm getting a 20% matching at 20% of 10 grand is $2,000. So I took home on top 10,000 in matching bonuses for the production of my team leaders. So this is how matching bonus works. Obviously, this is the long-term portion, because this starts to get really lucrative, and it starts to kick in as you build the layers of leaders, right? So the uni level is designed to pay you on going wide. And as your business starts to duplicate and replicate and starts building depth, matching bonuses is designed to pay you on the depth of your business based on building leaders. Okay. Now, leadership override. This is just like an extra cherry on top. This will be more applied to director, senior director, national director, but it's important to know. Think of this as like open line business, like how I showed you on the differential, right? Pretty much, if I become a national director and there's no national director under me, then on that volume, I'm going to make a 4% additional override in commissions on the entire volume that I've generated. If there is a national director below me in between us, then I'm going to get a generational override of 1% in that leg. If there isn't any in that leg, I get the 4%. Same thing as senior director, right? If I'm a senior director, there is no senior director in that leg, I get the full 3% override on the entire depth of that volume. If there is one in between me, I get the first generation 1% override, and they are not stacked, okay? Director as well. If I go director in any one of my legs, 4 legs, 5 legs, 2 legs, whatever legs I have, if I'm a director and there are no other directors in between us, I'm gonna get the full 2% override on the entire sales business, an additional 2% payout on the sales that I've generated. Okay. If there is a director in between us, very simple. I get a 1%, right? So it's, more meetings means more money. Now, the following are the relevant director groups, right? So director group, senior director group, national director group, right? So this is pretty much like an open line, like how I had said. A director group is resulting in a leg where there's no other directors. Senior director group is a leg where there's no equivalent senior director. National director group means you're the open line. There is no other national director in that leg but you. Okay. So these are the overrides. Okay. You want to start paying attention to this right around the time you're wrapping up team leader, going director. Now, the last part is the global revenue share. It's very simple, right? Here's some caveats that you got to understand. So for every country that we're open in, every market, at the end of the month, they're going to allocate 1% of the generated BP of that entire market and put it into a global bonus sharing revenue share pool. Okay. So it starts from director, senior director, national director. So the caveat is you don't get paid in every market because you're the rank. It's when you hit these ranks and you have a business or organization or a team running in these relative markets, whatever you generated in those markets, you're going to be allocated a certain amount of points, and based on those points, it'll be commissioned out, right? So when you hit director, senior director, national director, it gives you a chance to participate in all the markets that you build your team in. And it's kind of like, even if another national director, senior director, or director is not on your team, it's still a cool way to get paid on someone else that's not a part of your organization, right? But it's all a revenue share of 1% of the BP per international markets, so as long as you are participating with a team in those markets. So the call to action is very clear. It's the handful of new recruits that can make or change your career in this business. Every leader's business was always once in a slump, but how they overcome it time and time again was that they focused on finding a handful of new recruits. So the call to action actually to become successful in this business, managing the right expectations early on, is go wide. Start with 10 front lines early on. Set yourself up from the beginning, because it's like when you put on a button-up shirt, it's absolutely imperative to put the first button into the first correct hole to button up and finish dressing up into a nice shirt. Just like that, it's not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail, right? Go wide in the beginning, go 10 wide, because then you're going to have a nice open line group by the time you go team leader. You're going to unlock all levels, and your uni level is going to be nice and fat by the time you're rolling that into team leader. And obviously, from the jump, you want to be uni level qualified. So make sure you work towards, as a prerequisite, 1,000 SP personal. Okay. So that's the call to action. My best recommendation to be successful is go 10 frontline wide, make it a mission to go team leader, and become uni level qualified with 1,000 SP. So that's going to wrap it up for our recording. This is our official compensation plan recording. So I want to thank you guys for participating, and I will have this recording ready for you guys.